Hello everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. So let's get right to it. Why do you need to, why do you rotate the greens in your green smoothies? Or I say in your green smoothies, but in general, because probably people are not going to sit down and just eat one green salads all the time. So yeah, you want to rotate your greens in general, but it's mostly when we're stuffing it in our green smoothies that it comes into play. I've told you guys before, I was just reading. I wanted to refresh myself on the information here. Up here, here's my process. Up here, I just don't have that much free space on my hard drive. I feel like I'm intelligent when I read something, when somebody explains something to me. I get it. I get what there's things that don't make sense, there's things that do make sense. But usually once I've investigated and it makes sense to me, I move on. I just incorporate it into what I'm doing, and I don't memorize every detail. I'm jealous of those people that can. I wish I could do that in this high carb vegan lifestyle. I know I could be a much more effective communicator, mainly face to face with people, especially if I was able to just be able to spit back a lot of this stuff. But that's why I take lots of notes and have lots of links in in my Word documents. And I came back across this one this morning because I've been just pounding. I don't know how it popped into my head. Things just pop in there. I've been pounding green smoothies this morning. So I found a couple of articles that I liked. I went to trusty old Google, found a couple of articles. Well, actually, I read through about 5 or 6, and I found these to be kind of concise, to the point, and most relevant. Okay. And I'm just going to read a little bit of it to you. All raw leafy, I'm going to skip down. I'm not going to read the article verbatim. I can put them, you know what? I'll try my best to remember space again. I'm looking at 2 sites here. I'll try my best to remember to put the link down below to these 2 articles. And if I don't, and you're interested in looking at them, poke me, just say, hey Jack, senile old man, you didn't put it in there. All raw leafy greens carry a small amount of toxins that protect plants from being entirely consumed by other animals and wiping out the plant species. It's a defensive trait and something even we should be aware of. As humans, if we consume these toxins for long periods of time, they can build up and harm our thyroid. Some symptoms of alkaloid buildup are nausea, tingling in fingertips, and fatigue. But before you dump your green smoothie down the drain, you should know that this isn't anything to worry about as long as you're rotating your greens. Throughout the week, use a variety of leafy greens in your smoothies like kale, spinach, romaine, herbs, and carrot tops. Or for me, like arugula, broccoli. But what I'm hearing here, now this is what I'm seeing too, so don't go out there and freak out. It's not that common. Now it's good to mix up your greens because, even if it just brings you down a little bit, why would you want to do that, with these little bit of toxins? But it just says, so just a reminder, alkaloid buildup is rare. And if you do experience any symptoms, they're very mild and they don't last long. Nothing that will send you to the doctor's office. You might just take a few days break from green smoothies and jump right back in. Starting out is talking about some of it. Like I say, not all of this is totally relevant. Some of it's just really, a lot of times when you read through blog posts and whatever, I hate to do it because I write some too, but usually I only read about, I can scan through and it's like you're filling, your boss is giving you filler, or you need to do a 1,000-word article. So some of it is just filler. It's talking about start rotating your leafy greens weekly. One week you might buy spinach, then on your next you might buy kale. I don't think that's all that important to be very super specific on rotating your greens. You could probably, I don't think you're not going to build up anything in a week. In other words, like if you pounded spinach all week this week and then you switched over to kale next week, probably not going to be that big of a deal. But I like to keep greens around all the time. When I'm at home, I have a lot of arugula. I love my arugula, and it gives it a little bit more of a peppery taste, a little bit more spice to it. But I generally mix it up between arugula, kale, spinach, and even though it's not a leafy green, I like broccoli. I put broccoli in my smoothies. Yeah, I'm a little bit weird, aren't I? And another reason, I liked this one. This one just threw another aspect in there. Some greens are more nutritious than others, and it's talking about. But you know, I don't know. I'll have to look back through this. I'm not sure if this is written totally for raw vegans. So, you know, people like us that eat a lot of this stuff anyway, and we're constantly taking in. First of all, adding a variety of leafy greens to your diet promotes nutritional diversity. Different foods have different amounts of nutrients. By eating a variety of leafy greens, you'll get a more balanced amount of vitamins and minerals. Also, certain greens have unique phytonutrients that you might not get at all or in smaller amounts by eating only one or two types of leafy green. It would be a shame to eat nothing but spinach when kale and dandelion have much higher levels of calcium, iron, and protein, so don't get stuck in a rut with your leafy greens. That's really good. I like that. There's just, you know, it's not necessarily about preventing yourself from having, you know, some sort of bad toxic buildup. It's just the fact that, you know, even though they're all greens, they do have unique properties and they do have unique nutrients that they offer to us. So, yeah, I mean, that's just, but that's almost not, that's kind of common sense to me now, but it wasn't always, you know, because sometimes I just like to not think about the diet, you know, just like, I know a year ago I would just buy spinach because it was easy and it was there, and I just buy bags and bags of spinach. But you know, there's a lot of good different greens out there. I really like to explore some of the wild greens. I don't know that much about it, but anything wild, I've just got to think anything wild in this world we live in today is probably superior to things that are grown purposely. But you know, we do what we can do. Let's see what they have to say about avoid potential, let's see what their take on that, the toxicity. Avoid potential overdose of anti-nutrients. And we'll say the second and perhaps biggest reason you should rotate your greens is that all leaves contain small amounts of toxins as a defense mechanism. Yep, we read that one. For example, goitrogens, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Goit, it's kind of the first four letters start off like goit. In kale and other brassicas can interfere with thyroid hormone function in susceptible individuals. Oxalic acid in spinach can be problematic for people who are prone to kidney stone formation. So things to look, you know, things to look out for. I've heard people talk about the spinach there. I don't guess I'm prone to kidney stone formation because I eat a lot of spinach, but then again, I don't overeat the spinach. You know, once I had that information, like I say, you don't necessarily have to be able to sit there and regurgitate everything to understand something. Like I say, once it made sense with me that you needed to rotate your greens, I didn't question it. I just started rotating my greens. So as much spinach as I do eat, I always get to that point where I'm like, okay, you've had enough spinach or you're eating too much spinach, and I pull in the kale. Because I can get kale all day long. I can get kale, and I can get I can get a number of things. I can get bok choy. I can get chard. So I'm trying to get more of those in there because I just, you know, I just like what it's saying here, and I just think to be the safest possible, the bigger the variety, the better. Consuming a couple handfuls of spinach or kale in a green smoothie every day is perfectly safe for most people who do not have a pre-existing health conditions that could be aggravated by these foods. It is highly unlikely, another one that says, it is highly unlikely that you will experience any sort of toxicity from eating larger than average portions of leafy greens as part of a healthy whole foods diet. The problem, however, arises if you currently have a medical condition that may be exacerbated by certain compounds found in some leafy greens. I know there's medications too, that if you're at that point where you're on medication, that's something you would want to look into also. My mother takes, God, I don't know anything about prescription drugs, like not those kind of prescription drugs. Coumadin or something, it's like a blood thinner. And it may not be Coumadin, and I may have her medications because she does her own medication. Obviously, I'm not here all the time, and she's sharp as a tack in her head. So, but there's one that she's not supposed to eat as much of the leafy greens. So, if you are somebody that's out there that's on any kind of medication, I don't know if it's her blood pressure medication. Yeah, it's a blood thinner, blood pressure medication. If you're on any kind of medication like that, you know, you might really want to do a little bit more research into this, but your doctor's probably told you all this anyway. So leafy greens can be harmful. Oh my gosh. No, raw bok choy is not poisonous in reasonable amounts. Putting kale in your green smoothie will not give you hypothyroidism, and spinach smoothies will not give you kidney stones. What it's getting down to here, though, is they are talking about, this is another one, this is not written, this is not a raw vegan site. So they are not, the one thing I have to take from these two sites is that they are not raw vegans, and they're probably not eating or not even trying to eat their greens in the same amounts that a lot of us are. So they're, so the amounts that we try to eat, I shoot for, I don't know how many of you out there, it's hard to get what I think we really need, like, I don't know, some people say 1.5 pounds of greens a day, some people say more, some people say less. But that's a lot of greens. I mean, I'll buy a big bag and think like, oh wow, this is a lot, and it might be 10 ounces in that bag. So I would need to eat like almost 2 of these bags, or like 1.8 of these bags to get the full greens I do in a day. So if we're eating lots and lots and lots of greens, different than the general public, yeah, I think, it's good to be aware of this. And I don't know, it's like one of those things, like you read so much and one person will tell you this, one person will tell you that, and I'm even reading 2 different things there. I don't know if you're going to get some serious toxicity buildup in your body, but why tempt it? Why tempt it? There's so many good greens out there, and they all have different benefits to you. So, yeah, that's it. That's my process for me. Like I say, I read a couple of things. It makes sense to me to rotate my greens. I rotate my greens. Anyhow, just wanted to share that little bit of reading I was doing with you this morning. Hope you learned something from it. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe it just reinforced, or maybe you knew all along. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and hope you're having a wonderful week. It's all good here in my world. About to get outside here again in a little while. Peace.